I thought my dad was just a lazy loser my whole childhood, until I found out what he was really doing every night. Growing up, I was embarrassed by my father. While other dads coached Little League or attended school events, mine was always too tired or had to work. He'd come home exhausted, eat dinner in silence, then disappear into the garage until late at night. My mom would make excuses, but I just thought he didn't care about our family. I was especially angry during my senior year when he missed my graduation ceremony. He said he had to work, but I knew the auto shop was closed that day. I saw it as just another example of his priorities being wrong. My friends' parents threw parties and took photos, while mine was nowhere to be found. When I left for college, I barely said goodbye. I was tired of being disappointed by someone who seemed to put everything before his family. My mom would call and mention dad asking about me, but I'd keep the conversation short. I had decided he simply wasn't the father I deserved, but that was just the beginning of understanding who my dad really was. Last month, my mom had a stroke. While cleaning out financial papers at the hospital, I found a folder labeled Emma's College Fund in Dad's handwriting. Inside were hundreds of receipts from his second job, night shifts at a warehouse, working from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. every single night for the past 6 years. I sat there staring at pay stubs showing he'd been working 16-hour days since I was in middle school. The exhaustion, the missed events, the time in the garage, he wasn't being lazy. He was collapsing from exhaustion after working all night to save money for my education. What I discovered next absolutely broke my heart. There was a letter addressed to me, dated from my graduation day. He'd written it but never sent it. In shaky handwriting, he explained that he'd worked a double shift the night before my ceremony and fell asleep in his car in the school parking lot. He'd woken up just as it ended, watching from his car as families celebrated while he sat alone, devastated that he'd missed the moment he'd been working toward for years. The letter continued with an apology for not being the dad I wanted, but explained that he was trying to be the dad I needed. Every missed dinner was overtime pay. Every early bedtime was preparation for another night shift. Every time he seemed distant, he was calculating college costs and scholarship deadlines. I found bank statements showing he'd saved $47,000 for my education while never buying himself anything new. His work clothes were full of holes. His truck hadn't been repaired in years, but my college fund grew every month. That folder also contained every newspaper clipping of my school achievements, every report card, every award certificate. Things I thought he didn't care about were carefully preserved and organized. At the bottom was a photo of my graduation, taken from his car window, with a note, "So proud, worth every sleepless night." When I got to the hospital, Dad was sitting beside Mom's bed, holding her hand despite his own exhaustion. He looked older, more fragile than I remembered. When he saw me, his face lit up with the same pride I'd seen in those hidden photos. I handed him the letter and watched his eyes fill with tears. "I'm sorry I wasn't the dad you wanted," he whispered. "You were exactly the dad I needed," I told him. "I just didn't know it yet." We talked for hours that night about sacrifice, priorities, and love that doesn't always look the way we expect it to. Sometimes the greatest love is silent, working in shadows, asking for nothing in return. My dad wasn't lazy. He was exhausted from loving us the only way he knew how.